Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I am super excited to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac. We're talking about the reunion part 1, and I can't wait to get into it. What did you guys think? We're going to be talking about all of it. I want to talk about the fashions and the lack thereof. I'm looking at you, Robyn. We're going to be talking about the attitudes, the things that came out in this part. Just talk about all of it. So I can't wait to get into it and can't wait to hear your thoughts about it. Definitely leave me comments on this one because I really want to know who was your winner of this reunion, who was your loser, who was just meh. What are your thoughts? Leave me comments. Okay, let's get into the episode. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. Let's talk about the looks. I personally did not love the yellow. I'm just not a yellow person. It's probably one of my least favorite colors, but that doesn't matter. I'm just curious what you thought. What did you guys think of everybody in yellow? I hated Candace's dress, and it's not just because I hate Candace. I just didn't like that big bow on her boobs. I didn't think it did any favors at all. I thought Gizelle looked gorgeous, but it's hard for Gizelle not to look gorgeous. Ashley, I loved her dress. I don't love the green cape thing. I understand she's pregnant, so I'll give her a pass. Candace had this big dumb feather fan thing. She was channeling what's her name? Kenya, I thought. I hated Robyn's dress. I actually hated Robyn's hair too. We'll get to that. Karen, I thought looked beautiful. I was so distracted by Karen's boobs. Not that they were out. I don't care. You could see her stuff that held her boobs into her dress, fully under her dress. And that was kind of distracting. That's disappointing. I actually liked Wendy's dress. I don't like the one sleeve, but I thought the side that had the arm strap was pretty. I thought Monique looked beautiful. Again, the one arm thing kind of bugged me, but I mean, it's hard for Monique not to look beautiful. I thought her hair looked nice like this. And Andy in a bright yellow tie to match everybody kind of pulled the looks together. But if you thought I was skipping over this mess, you are dead wrong. I hated everything about this look. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I dislike Robyn. She's not my favorite, but I don't really care either way about her. This look was so bad. I thought this was the worst dress with the weirdest Judy Jetson shoulders. I thought the hair was awful. I don't understand the stripes. It looked like spray paint tiger stripes with crimping. I just didn't understand the look at all. And I think Robyn is a beautiful woman. I don't understand why they made her look like this. I don't understand her makeup either. There's Karen and her taped down boobs again. I don't understand why they did that to her. It just doesn't look comfortable to sit in for a couple hours. Okay, so let's get into this. So we find out they arrived at 7 a.m. I don't know why, I just thought that was really interesting. That would make it that much tougher to get into full glam and gowns and to go through this process at 7 a.m. Ugh. Okay, so, by the way, T'Challa's there. I don't know why I thought that was funny, but I did. All right, so we get into the reunion, and I really want to know, what were your thoughts? I'll definitely get into some of the segments, but I just want to know, who were your standouts? To me, I thought Ashley held herself well, the little bit we've seen of her. Believe me, I'm sure her stuff's going to poop soon. As soon as they trot out Michael, I have no use for Ashley then. I thought Karen was doing a good job. I couldn't believe when they took down Gizelle. I'm not shocked that Jamal's cheating. It's not even that. The whole thing where, right off the bat, Monique had receipts to take down Gizelle. I thought that was hilarious. And you guys, Wendy. I cannot with Wendy. I found her so obnoxious, so over the top. I don't know what I expected. I guess I thought maybe she'd come out with just maybe an ounce of humility and like, oh yeah, I like the Countess thing. You remember Countess kept talking about Countess all season, and they kind of gave her shit about that. So I thought maybe Wendy would laugh it off or something. No, it's not what happened. She's just as obnoxious as ever, just throwing those degrees at people. And I thought Ashley did a good job of calling her out, using them as a weapon, but nope, she takes no accountability. Nothing she ever does is wrong, just what everybody else does is wrong. Which is interesting because she was lumping herself in with Candace in a way, and so I'm lumping them in together saying both of them have the same affliction. They never do anything wrong. It's only everybody else. So I just think the whole thing's ridiculous. So let's see here. Let's go through this. Green-Eyed Bandits was one of the first sections. Robyn and Gizelle being good friends. Hard for me to care about this. I mean, I don't dislike Robyn or Gizelle. I see through Gizelle more this season than I have in the past. But I don't dislike them the way I dislike Wendy. It's just they're not... they're trying to stir up shit, but I believe it's for the betterment of the show. I don't know what Wendy's purpose is. I really don't. I think it's for the betterment of herself, or so she thinks. Yeah, so they're good friends, so that's cool. They talk about who do you think has changed the most in 5 years? They all point to Karen. She says it's because losing two parents, she sees things differently, and she can only be true to herself. And they talk about what work she's had done. Rude. She says that she's had injections to her nose. It sounds like, and then they said who's changed the least. They all say Gizelle. They talk about Candace and how in her first season she was the pageant girl, implying that she's no longer that. And I say, what? Even in my notes I wrote, isn't she still? I mean, what's changed? She's still very much pageant girl to me. Let's see. They talk about Gizelle and her terrible fashions, which was really funny. Does Gizelle get dressed in the dark? And I do think the women hit the nail on the head. They all basically say Gizelle is so beautiful that she doesn't really have to try. And so that's kind of what it is. And so even Wendy says, because you're so pretty, you don't have to try. And they ask Robyn, and Robyn says, I think she rocks her own style. And I'm thinking, okay, I've seen your hats, Robyn, and I've seen your dress today. I don't want to hear about your thoughts on anybody's style. Let's see. Candace says she'd like to see what a day with a great stylist would do. And Karen says she's obsessed with her clothes and says she's, it's been very therapeutic during quarantine. I thought that was hilarious. Gizelle points out that Karen was wearing fake Fendi because it said Indie, and Karen explains, no, it's because of altering. She didn't want the dress to fall down, so that's why it said Indie on it. They ask who the best dress is, and everybody says Karen. I would agree with that. I actually like Ashley's fashion sense most of the time. I just think she has terrible taste in men. They go over to Wendy and show her clip package being a new housewife. She says she's the first Nigerian housewife, and her kids are so excited, and she's so excited, and she says she's like royalty when she goes to the market. And she's still teaching. She teaches power, policy, and politics. She teaches at Johns Hopkins, and this is where she and Ashley talk about what happened. Ashley said she never wanted to take away from her accomplishments, but you used it to put others down. And again, I said this before, I think Ashley did a good job holding her own here, and I found Wendy completely obnoxious. Wendy says it's because she's constantly put on the defensive about her degrees. I never saw that. Did you guys see that? She says it's a cultural thing. And Ashley brings up when she says that, it's Dr. Wendy. It was just obnoxious. Again, to me, it just goes back to being an obnoxious person. I know I sound like a broken record, but literally, that's what it is to me. That's what it screams. Let's see. She denies it being a personal issue, and Andy brings up, Karen, you seem the least impressed by her degrees. And she said, I'm impressed by her accomplishment, but, and she trails off. And of course, Gizelle has to pipe up. And Gizelle says, Karen from day one was trying to get Wendy kicked off the show. And Robyn corroborates the story and says on the way home from Portugal, she said the same thing. And Wendy says, Karen didn't take to me because I didn't come to her and kiss her ass. And Andy brings up Candace and Ashley, who did kiss her ass immediately, and Karen says that it's her opinion and that they had a rough first year together, but that doesn't really mean anything, and she doesn't have to kiss her ass. And maybe it is a little bit that, but I didn't see it like that. I think Karen saw through the BS like the rest of us did and just found her obnoxious. Andy brings up the Wendy Slither thing. She said she found it amusing, and Karen said she loves that Wendy was being a good sport about it. Candace and her tweets. This was frustrating because Andy's talking about Candace learning a little thing about restraint. No, she hasn't learned. Obviously, from the season, she hasn't learned. She pretended like she learned, but she didn't. And what was surprising to me is, if you guys follow it, some homophobic stuff came out in her Twitter. I mean, I believe they talked about it on the show. It's definitely been addressed in real life. She said some pretty terrible things, and he's not calling her on it. I mean, this is your chance. Like, you should call her out and be like, what the hell? What's your problem? Andy, of all people, should be calling her on it as a member of the community. It just didn't make sense to me. But Ashley calls her out on all the awful things she's tweeted, and Candace takes no responsibility. She ends up calling Michael itchy and says he should get tested, and I thought that was actually pretty funny. Andy calls her a disaster on Twitter, and Robyn starts standing up for Candace and saying, okay, so this is where the aggressive thing comes up. And this is hard to speak about as a white lady, you know what I mean? Maybe I shouldn't have a say in this, but my thought is Monique hit the nail on the head with this one, is that we've all been called aggressive. It's not about color, it's about your actions. That's exactly what Monique says. That's how I feel. And Wendy never directly addressed it. She just talked about Ashley using buzzwords like that, and those terms are a nod and a wink, and I don't know. I just think Wendy and Candace are being called out because they're being the loudest, the most annoying. To me, it's an excuse. I don't know. I'm frustrated. Color aside, I don't watch them for color. I watch them for the entertainment value. And I can objectively say, I think Candace is annoying. I think she provokes people. I think she is aggressive in her terms. I mean, this is what the whole season has been about, is her aggressive nature on Twitter and in real life, and asking people to drag her and being shocked when people do drag her. Wendy, I wouldn't say she's aggressive. I'd say she's obnoxious. So that's my thoughts on that part. I'm going to move on. Okay, so we find out Candace is getting her MBA and purchased a new house. She said the only thing her mom has added to the house is a rubber plant. Okay. So they take a break, and the cameras kind of keep rolling. We get weird shots, but Monique points out that to Ashley that Candace did this whole long spiel about the tweets and her attitude, I guess, but she never gave an apology, and that's how I feel. Same thing with Wendy. They give whole long spiels, never get to anything of substance. They never give an apology. They never do anything wrong. Nothing's ever wrong in their eyes. So then they go over to Gizelle after the break, and Gizelle and Jamal rekindling. And Andy said, "You're determined to make Jamal live in your life and not in your phone." And they then talk about moving the house, the remodel, and apparently it's on pause because of Corona. Lots of comments on her decor. We've said it too. I do not understand the colors in that house. I like the house. I like the outside of the house. I thought the house had potential. Hate how she decorates it. They go over to Karen and she says, your theme of your house is Ronald McDonald. And Gizelle says, congratulations, your Geritol kicked in. So they kind of go back and forth. Karen saying Gizelle questioned her business to about La Dame and the fragrances and when they're coming out and stuff. And now we find out Gizelle's products aren't selling. And it's not that they're not selling. There's some roundabout answer about it not being in production. Again, they blame COVID. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not. I thought it was Karen. It was funny that Karen had her chance to bring this up. Okay. They talk about Jamal and his church. And Gizelle says it's tough because Georgia numbers are out of control. Of course, talking about COVID. She brings up the kid. It's brought up about the kid's attitude toward the relationship between Gizelle and their dad. She says the show helped their relationship and it made them have the conversations and get closer as a result. And Andy brings up Gizelle's dad and his reaction to the whole thing. She says she's okay with how he feels as long as he's there for her. I thought that was a good answer. But I don't buy any of this, especially after what's coming up with the fakeness and stuff. This is where Karen says the word on the street is Jamal and Gizelle pretend to be together. Is your relationship real? Or did he just have another baby with another woman while dating you? And she says it's the 7th baby. Is your relationship with Jamal, is it real? And Gizelle won't give a straight answer. And Andy asks if she would stay with him if he had a baby with another woman. Monique says he told his girlfriend at the time that he was doing this for the show. She's a pastor who reached out to Monique and has screenshots of everything, their messages, pictures of them in bed together. And she says she has them in her receipt book right here. She pulls out these pages of texts, and I thought it was actually fantastic. Her hyper-organized, pain-in-the-ass self totally paid off, and I loved it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's a line from Friend. Chandler said that to Monica. Finally, your hyper-organized, pain-in-the-ass self paid off. Okay. Robyn asks what her motivation is behind all this. Robyn and Candiace were just interjecting for no reason because they don't like Monique. It was kind of ridiculous. Monique reads all the messages where Jamal is saying it's not real, it's for TV. And Candiace says this is pathetic and low, which I thought was hilarious coming from Candiace because all she does is go pathetic and low. Monique says, I hope he's sitting behind you, Pastor Holy Whore. That was my favorite line. She called him Pastor Holy Whore. Oh, my God. Okay. Karen says, is Jamal coming? No, of course not. And Monique says, your pastor boyfriend is slinging his big D around Atlanta. You're a fraud. And that's how the episode ends, and I freaking loved it. I don't know why I just got such a kick out of this, because Gizelle on her high horse about, I can't be around this, not the pastor and I, and the way she talks about him, and I felt vindicated for her children who obviously don't like them together, and I thought it was a really funny scene. Okay. Then we get a flash to next part of the reunion. We have them teasing about Karen being drunk and her fireballs. They have where they unearthed that old clip of Michael squeezing a producer's butt. If you don't know what we're talking about, check out. It's one of my older it's one of my Bravo News videos. I actually show the picture of him grabbing a butt. Behind the scenes fighting at the reunion, we see about the trainer rumor with Monique, and we have Candiace crying. Huge shock. I guess they're going to talk about the altercation. Not really sure. I just can't wait to watch it. I have thoroughly enjoyed this reunion. Can't wait to see what's next. Let me know your comments below. I really want to know what your thoughts were on this one. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to check out my other videos. I'm covering so many other shows like Real Housewives of Miami, Ladies of London, and 90 Day Fiancé, the new season started up. Be sure to watch my recap because it is crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Love all the comments. And hope you guys have a fantastic week. Take care. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Bye-bye.